Okay.
An Abhidhamma question regarding what we were talking about before. You mentioned that, of course, this conception is at birth. Would it be at the womb while the baby is still, in process of developing?
When the consciousness...
Yeah, when you actually, the conscious mind becomes, you know what I mean, active, would it be at birth? After the womb, after the mother.
Already consciousness would be present in the embryo, or the fetus.
It would be?
Yeah.
So it would be considered that he has a life, or that same energy will be already there.
Yeah.
Saying. Okay. So that debates the abortion topic, right?
Excuse me?
It debates the abortion topic, I would say. No.
Yeah. It's not said as specifically, let's say it's unclear to my mind whether the moment the ovum is fertilized, that it means that the consciousness has come in. Exactly when the consciousnness comes in, it's not stated in the text.
Okay. I thought it would be Abhidhamma explained that because I had the first class. I didn't go to the second one. I thought I missed something, but it's not.
Excuse me?
No, I came to the first Abhidhamma, class. The second one I didn't come. I thought I missed that part where it's connecting.
I don't think I dealt with that.
Okay, no.
Because it's not stated in the text.
Okay, thanks.
But in order for, let's see. Let me just see what it said. In order for the text is not. It's right in front of me. Let me just get my glasses. Yeah, it's Sutta number 38.
Number 38?
Yeah. Yeah, it's page 358. The descent of the embryo, Gabasavakanti. It's the section number 26. Takes place through the union of three things. There's the union of the mother and father. Then the mother has to be in season or fertile. And then the Gandhabba, for the embryo to descend, the Gandhabba, that's the being to be reborn, the stream of consciousness, must be present. So when there is the union of mother and father, and the mother is in season, and the Gandhabba is present, through the union of these three, the descent of the embryo takes place. But the question is whether that descent of the embryo takes place at the very moment that fertilization takes place, that I don't know. Or whether it takes place at some later time in the development. Okay, some other question? Tsering, and then Bowie. Tsering? Yeah, take the microphone.
Bhante, in your earlier teachings, we said we will come back to this point on the view of a person such as this is the right view. You said you'll come back later on.
I did come back.
Oh, really, Bhante?
Yeah,
okay.
The point that I was making when I said I would come back to it is that this is not exactly the same as the right, or at least the way I understand it, not exactly the same as the right view that comes as the first step in the Noble Eightfold Path. But this is the right view that develops through the cultivation of insight.
Thank you.
Bhante, although I remember the definition of
Excuse
right,
me?
although I remember the definition of right concentration is for jhanas, but I don't know, I don't remember in which sutta it gives the
Right concentration is defined as the four jhanas.
In the Majjhima Nikaya, or in the four Nikayas.
Maybe it doesn't occur in the Majjhima Nikaya. It occurs in the Mahāsatipatthana Sutta, which is in the Digha Nikaya. But the Mahāsatipatthana Sutta that we have is pretty widely recognized to be maybe an artificial sutta, in the sense that I don't think it has counterparts or parallels in other collections from the early Buddhist schools. So it seems to be a compilation in the Theravada school by taking material from elsewhere and putting it together with the Satipatthana Sutta. But one finds that definition of right concentration in the Samyutta Nikaya, the chapter on the Noble Eightfold Path, chapter 45. There's one sutta, it's one of the early ones, that define the eight path factors, and that's the definition, is in terms of the four jhanas.
In that Samyutta Nikaya sutta, in Samyutta Nikaya, does it give detailed explanation after the definition?
No.
Okay.
It just gives the formal definition of each path factor. What is right view? One knows suffering, origin, cessation, path, right through. What is right concentration? First, second, third, fourth jhana. That's it.
So, Bhante, then can we conclude that if you will follow all the suttas in Majjhima Nikaya, we can say the insight meditation method is more authentic? Is the maybe I should not use the word authentic. Is the right way a practitioner should follow, instead of trying very hard to reach for jhanas?
Mm-hmm.
Because jhanas, in that case, should not be considered as the preliminary stage for one to go to the next stage of contemplation, insight meditation, right? One should be able to start from the very beginning, insight meditation.
I think that one finds a number of different perspectives on this in the Nikayas. The standard model of the path definitely is sila, samadhi, panya. And then when samadhi is defined or is explained, it's usually in terms of the four jhanas. And then we have the training in the higher sila, training in the higher citta, adhicitta, training in the higher wisdom. There too, training in the higher mind is defined as the four jhanas. So that's pretty well established. But I don't think that one has to see the sequence as being absolutely fixed, and that one has to achieve the jhanas before one could start practicing insight meditation. I think the suttas use many different approaches to teaching according to the disposition of the pupils.
Thank you very much.
Yorong.
One day, this sutta talks about seeing eye as it actually is, and seeing ear as it actually is, nose, tongue, and body. Does one ever need to see consciousness as it actually is?
Oh yeah. Because this sutta is formulated in terms of the six sense bases. In fact, consciousness is mentioned in terms of the six sensory types of consciousness. So one knows and sees the I, one knows and sees forms, one knows and sees consciousness, one knows and sees I consciousness, and then it's said for ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue, body, mind consciousness. So it's said for consciousness.
So one uses consciousness to see consciousness as it really is.
Yeah. And see you.
Bhante, perhaps following up on Yurong's question. So when it says seeing I as it really is, or I'll take the another faculty, the tongue faculty, for example, the tongue faculty as it is. So when we eat, let's say the taste we see,
Yeah.
that's the form. It's not the tongue. It's the taste. Is that right, Bhante?
I have to say, one could see the sense objects arising and passing away. It's rather, I find this problematic. How does one see the tongue as it is?
Mm.
Because the tongue is not just, what is that? Of course it's a mental seeing. Yeah, but how does one actually observe the tongue? Except in a way inferentially through the experience of taste. Yeah. In that case, you don't need a cell phone. You could look in a mirror. But the point is that what is meant by the tongue, also by the eye, it's not the gross sense organ, but it's the particular material configuration that's responsible for, that is receptive to a particular type of sense object. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then suppose that car gets totaled in an accident.
Yeah.
And my immediate gut reaction is, oh! And then just a moment after that, I go, oh well.
Yeah.
Am I attached to that thing?
Well, I would.
Is that, is that, yeah.
I would say that if one has a possession, one has a kind of responsibility to take good care of it. If you get upset even momentarily when the car is damaged, that is it's symptomatic of a kind of attachment. But if one is able to overcome that very soon after, then it shows that one is reasonably advanced on the way to detachment.
So one is getting there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't like. Yeah. Mm.
It also depends on if he is affordable. He's afford to have another new car. If it's very easy, so it can let go easily. If he cannot, then it's
No, I think one
another
should always cherish the things that one possesses. Well, relatively speaking.
Bhante,
Yeah.
I have a question. Say, when an eye doctor see the eye,
Yeah.
he or she see cataracts, he or she see eye disease and help to treat the patient.
Yeah.
But he or she does not necessarily have the does not necessarily know eyes as it is. But how can we, I think the knowledge is needed. How can we protect or preserve or establish the maintained knowledge?
The what?
The maintained knowledge.
Medical knowledge. Modern day knowledge.
Mundane knowledge.
Mundane knowledge. I'm not quite sure of the point. That the medical doctor...
Basically, the medical doctor does not see the eyes is what really is the eye. He may not see the eyes as impermanent, but see the eye as a scientific object.
When the text says to know and see the eye as it really is, it's speaking from the standpoint of insight knowledge, which is different from the kind of knowledge that a eye specialist will have of the eye. Like you take, say, a monk, maybe say even a meditation master who's gone through all of the stages of insight knowledge based on the 6 sense faculties. He'll have no knowledge at all, maybe about the distinction of the retina, the rods, the cones, the cornea, and so on. He doesn't know any of these terms, doesn't know what they are, but he has the insight knowledge of the eye as it really is. The ophthalmologist will have very exhaustive knowledge about rods, cones, retina, retinal puckers, which I have, cornea, everything like that, but no knowledge of, no insight knowledge of the eye. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Bhante, when you explain dependent origination in terms of 3 times, and ignorance is assigned to the previous life, right? And craving is for this life. But so I thought at that time ignorance belongs to previous life. But in this sutta, you say in this present life we have both.
Yeah, one shouldn't take when the 12 links of dependent origination are divided according to the 3 lives, I say I call that an expository device. That is, it's a device for showing how the different factors are interrelated. But it doesn't mean that one has to think ignorance belongs to the past, not to the present. But there's also, wherever there's craving, then there's ignorance along with it. So the 2 are always working hand in hand.
Can I say craving is ignorance of this life?
You can't say the craving is not the same as ignorance, but ignorance and craving are closely bound up together.
And they say the nutriments for ignorance is 5 hindrances.
The nutriment for
ignorance
is the 5, that's said in the sutta, yeah. But ignorance is also, you say ignorance is the nutriment for the 5 hindrances, because all 5 hindrances exist depending upon ignorance. But then the 5 hindrances are also the nutriment for ignorance, because the 5 hindrances prevent true knowledge from arising, and it's true knowledge that eliminates the 5 hindrances.
Maybe related to that, Bhante. In here, actually, when I was reading, it kind of struck me when Buddha was explaining the things that should be abandoned.
Yeah.
Here Buddha says ignorance and craving of being, bhavatanha.
Yeah.
Whereas in Dhammacakka Sutta,
Yeah.
he uses kamatanha,
Yeah.
bhavatanha,
Yeah.
vibhavatanha.
Yeah.
Any significance to this difference?
I could only guess that I would say that probably in the Dhammacakka Sutta, he's trying to be more inclusive, to take all the three different modes of craving. Whereas here, because he's trying to point out those factors that have to be uprooted because they are the strong or decisive causes of bondage to samsara. So there's the bhava tanha, the craving for existence, then underlying that, ignorance.
For a household, kama tanha is also very difficult to get rid of.
But I think here he's speaking also to monks who must be advanced practitioners. Did you have a question? Yeah, please.
Bhante, is this direct knowledge, as an ordinary layperson, we encounter all kinds of experiences in life, and experiences of extreme jealousy, hatred, extreme attachment, and so on.
Mm.
So how would you apply direct knowledge here?
This is not the practice for that stage. There are other modes of practice for that. This is the practice for, this is referring to this world transcending or super mundane knowledge for eliminating all of the fetters, for gaining liberation. But for dealing with these different defilements that come up in daily life, there are other more basic methods. We'll come to them when we come to our next text. We'll take the selected suttas from Anguttara Nikaya, which are much more practical, I think.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we have to stop now because Sandy and Johnny, they have to leave, and we need them to show those who want to volunteer to put on the stickers. This year, yeah. So we should go to, I know all of the brochures are there. And I have some things to give you for BGR.